In this video, we will learn the computational procedure and interpretation of results of independent samples t-test through SPSS with an example. We assume that there are a group of students with a certain level of knowledge who are going to be trained. Before starting the training, they were given a test and their scores were recorded as group 1, and after training they were given another test to test their scores. Now the question is whether the training given is effective or not. Therefore, we have to formulate a null hypothesis H0 that there is no significant difference between the scores secured by the students before and after training. The alternative hypothesis will be there is a significant difference between the scores secured by the students before and after training. If the null hypothesis is true, then the training is ineffective. That is, there is no significant difference between the scores before and after training. On the other hand, if an alternative hypothesis is true, the training may be effective. Now we shall look at the SPSS. There are two variables entered. One is the marks before and after training. The second variable is a group variable, that is, marks before training is termed as group 1 and after training is termed as group 2. In this case, the scores secured by the students are scale data, that is quantitative data. It is not a nominal data or ordinal data, that is, it is not a qualitative data. So we have to use any one of the t-tests for testing the null hypothesis. In case of t-test, we have three types: one sample test, paired sample t-test, and independent samples t-test. If we have a one variable with a test value, then we have to use one sample t-test. In case of two variables, we have to use paired sample t-test. But here we have independent samples with two groups. So we have to use independent samples t-test. After entering the data, now click on Analyze menu, then Compare Means, then Independent Samples t-test. In the left panel, the variables entered are listed. We have to move the marks variable to the right panel, that is test variable. Then in group, we have to move the group variable. We see the question marks in the group panel. Click on that button. We see the groups. Enter 1 in the group 1, 2 in the group 2. Then click Continue and OK. Now we see the results, the t-test results. We have to accept or reject the null hypothesis based on the significance value. This is called the p-value. If the p-value is lesser than 0.05, we have to reject the null hypothesis. On the other hand, if the p-value is greater than 0.05, then we have to keep or retain the null hypothesis. Here, the significance value is lesser than 0.05. Hence, we may conclude that the training given may be effective. Thus, we have to accept the alternative hypothesis and reject the null hypothesis.